No, I have.
I can.
All right, thank you. Welcome back. We will reconvene the meeting, and I would request that council please report out on closed session.
Thank you, President Jones. The board met in closed session tonight to consider two matters. The first matter was a conference with its Workers' Compensation Council pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9 to consider the workers' compensation claim of Donald Meddy versus Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. By a vote of 7-0 with Directors Orzali and Clark absent, the board gave approval to its third-party administrator to settle that workers' compensation claim. Next, the board met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6 to discuss the status of the negotiations of the fire chief's contract with its designated negotiators as set forth in the closed session agenda. No action was taken.
All right, thank you, Council. We will be moving to action items. Our first is a proposed ordinance amending medical aid and ambulance transport user fees for Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. Chief Daniels, welcome to the podium.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Chief Hinkie, Board Clerk Tilson. You're over there somewhere. I'm Assistant Chief Bill Daniels with the EMS Division. Staff proposes that the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District initiate a change from its current itemized billing of medic transport fees to the bundled approach in order to streamline the billing process, and that the board institute a first responder fee to recover a portion of the cost of providing advanced life support response to medical emergencies. The effective date of the proposed changes would be January 12th, 2012. Some background. The district has experienced over $20 million decline in property tax revenue over the past 2 years. The community expects that we maintain the same level of emergency response services. Last year, the district placed a paramedic on 100% of its engine companies to ensure ALS is delivered in a timely manner to its citizens. Providing a paramedic on each engine company comes at a cost to the district and the taxpayers. Establishing a first responder fee would allow the district to recoup a part of the cost to provide this essential service. Property tax essentially pays for the backbone infrastructure of the organization: fire stations, apparatus, equipment, and all the logistics of having trained professional fire and EMS personnel in the stations ready to respond to an emergency when needed. The district is typically the first responder to emergency medical calls with the capability of providing advanced life support services. Currently, however, the district only recovers the cost of transporting patients to a medical facility. The bundling of transport fees would streamline the EMS billing process. enhance cash flow to the district by reducing the time it takes to receive payment and would facilitate the transition to electronic care reporting, or ePCR. There is no increase in fees as a result of bundling. Discussion regarding bundling of medic fees. Staff would like to bundle our medic fees. The district has a fee schedule that itemizes medical supplies, medical procedures, and the costs associated with the medic units. By bundling our medic fees, our future transition to ePCR will be streamlined because input will be greatly reduced by the end user, the paramedic. Bundling will also assist by reducing the timeline to receive payment. On itemized billing, it is common for the biller to spend time answering inquiries from the insurance company about various supplies and procedures. By reducing our current itemized billing over 55 billing options, we would be more efficient in our operation. Below is a list of proposed bundle fees. The only change in our rate listed below are the bundled base rates, which now include the average medical supplies and procedures utilized per incident. ALS bundled base rate would be $1,615. The BLS bundled rate would be $1,470. Mileage, oxygen, nighttime charge, and monitor when used would have no change. The first responder fee. First responders, typically an engine or truck company, are dispatched with a medic unit to assess the patient and initiate, as necessary, BLS or emergency care. In fiscal year 10-11, our first responder units responded to approximately 46,761 emergency medical calls. Of these, 30,700 calls resulted in our first responders arriving on scene and performing an assessment or initiating patient care. Pursuant to state law, the district can recover the cost providing the first responder service by adopting a first responder fee. The fee would also be applicable to treat and no transport calls. The opportunity to recoup some of the costs providing this service will help the district and ensure we can continue our high level of advanced life support services to the community it serves. What is a first responder fee? It's a fee that is charged when a metro first responder, such as an engine or truck company, responds to a medical aid and assesses or assists with patient care, and a patient care report is generated. This fee also includes all treat, no transports. Health and Safety Code Section 13916 provides the authority for the district to establish fees for any service which the district provides, including a first responder fee. The cost of responding to and evaluating the patient on our first responder units is estimated to be $275.58, which includes the following: a dispatch fee of $52.50, personnel cost, which includes $183.08. This includes a firefighter paramedic, an engineer, as well as a captain. Other costs include fuel, supplies, and miscellaneous costs, which total $40. If the board chooses to adopt a first responder treat, no transport fee of $275.58, our biller, Whitman Enterprises, estimates that our net charges, what we bill out, would be $8,460,306, and that our net revenue, which is what we would receive, would be approximately $1,733,938. This is based on 30,700 first responder emergencies. Below is a list of agencies that currently charge a first responder fee and a treat, no transport fee. It's either one or the other or both. I'm not going to go through all of those, but I will highlight a few that I think are important for public record. Alameda County charges both a first responder fee and a treat, no transport fee. Novato Fire Department as well charges a first responder fee and a treat, no transport fee. Sacramento City Fire Department charges a treat, no transport fee. El Dorado JPA charges a treat, no transport fee. Historically, the EMS division had 2 office technicians processing patient care reports. Through attrition, we now have 1 office tech performing the same task. The workload to process additional PCRs has risen due to the EMS redesign earlier this year. In addition, more accountability has been placed on the billing process to ensure efficiency. To support the proposed first responder fee, an additional infrastructure will be needed. 1 additional office technician will be required to assist with monitoring, billing, and processing of first responder reports. Staff feels that this position is also needed to ensure the district maximizes its medic fee revenue. The top step salary for office technician with full benefits is $6,990 monthly, or $83,880 annually. The fiscal impact: a first responder fee and treat, no transport fee of $275.58 would recoup approximately $1,734,000 of the cost of providing a first responder unit staffed with a paramedic on medical emergencies. The annual cost to add an office technician position to the EMS division would be $83,880. Bundling our current medic transport fee would not result in any fiscal change to our revenue. Staff's recommendation: in summary, staff recommends the district institute a first responder and treat, no transport fee and bundle our medic fee as reflected in Exhibit A, effective January 12, 2012. Staff further recommends that a full-time office technician position be added to the EMS division, effective with adoption of the first responder fee. Thank you, and do you have any questions?
Director Pearson?
A couple, if you don't want. The ALS bundle and BLS bundle rate, just to get it clear, when you're adding oxygen or the monitor, those are not part of the ALS bundle rate. That would be an additional charge if they were to be put on the monitors. Is that what I'm?
That's correct.
Okay. And then with the treat, no transport, is that also in addition to the monitor? Let's say the first responders get there and they start some care and some assessments, and then the patient decides not to go. Are they going to be billed just the flat $275, or do they also get added the monitor and maybe oxygen if used in addition to the base $275 rate?
It would be a flat fee for a treat, no transport of $275.58. No other fees would be applied to that.
All right, and then my last question would be, what is the criteria? I mean, we came up with the 1.7. What is the cutoff that we've talked about as far as how heavy-handed our billing would be? I mean, do we just go if whatever the insurance takes, or do we go by their ability to pay? What is the thought process on that?
Director Pearson and fellow directors, President Jones, the current ability in the code allows the fire chief to waive fees for people that are challenged to pay. That has existed for quite some time. We realize the state of the economy. But we are required by law to bill everybody, and if they have the ability to pay, we want to be able to collect to recoup our costs, because the taxpayers, we're trying to bill the user, not the taxpayer. When the taxpayer only generates X amount of dollars, it's the end user. In that regards, the insurance companies, this number really is based on the insured, because that's the only guarantee that you're going to get paid. And the insurance companies have this money line item to pay it. And kind of along the idea of AB 678. We didn't have enacting legislation to be able to recoup these costs, and until we did that, we were basically losing millions of dollars a year. So this is an effort to be able to go out and at least capture for sure the insurance dollars that are available to recoup for these types of costs. And as we have always done, we will take the other people on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. Okay, we'll just go around the podium. Director Scheider?
Chief, I just want to make clear that we're adding a position to affect this and to affect it in a way that's going to enable it to work, right? The office tech is going to, in essence, assure that the proper billing and follow-up is going to occur. This is a new process, and the new position is necessary, and there will be a net gain in revenue to the department by instituting this position and this process. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you. I'll move the ordinance.
Okay, motion's been put forward.
Don't you have to,
Moved and
I
seconded.
think we have to open a public hearing before we can take any action, correct, Madam?
Yes, that
Clerk.
is correct, but right now we're going to take director's comments, and I will open and close the public, and then we can have additional director comments. Director Newcomer.
Will the office techs handle the questions that come in from the people being billed?
No, we're going to direct those to Whitman Enterprises initially, and from there they go to my desk.
They will have someone, or probably already have someone on staff that advises our patient to bill this through their insurance company. Are they going to get that advice?
What was the question again?
If the citizen receives a bill for a treatment, no transport,
Correct.
something they've never seen before, when they call Whitman, are they advised to submit that to their insurance carrier?
Well, first of all, Whitman, when they get the bill, will go through and, for example, if it's a Kaiser patient, they're going to go ahead and bill Kaiser. They'll, if the patient happens to call about the bill, and if the patient care report's already arrived at Whitman, then Whitman will make that notification to the patient, advise them that they're going to bill it.
For
The insurance company.
For a treatment, no transport today, are we capturing insurance information? Or is that going to be new?
We are not going to capture it in the field. We're going to have our paramedics and EMTs focus on patient care. The responsibility of billing will fall to our biller to get that information. Our crews are going to be responsible for gathering the information that they're already required to gather, which is going to be name, address, and we're going to ensure they have a contact phone number.
So it will be Whitman that then pursues the insurance end.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's their job.
Anything else, Director? Director Kelly, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't.
Director Gould?
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Chief, thank you very much for your presentation. Chief Hankey addressed one of my issues. This is a line item in an insurance policy that you in the community are already paying for. We're just taking the appropriate steps to continue to recoup the costs that are already being borne to us. I think it's important for the community to recognize that our billables reach $8.5 million, but the revenue that's actually going to come back is 1.7. I think it's important for them to understand that we're providing this significant service, and even when we bill out $8.5 million, we're getting only 1.7. I think it's also important that I go through my annual discussion about staffing in EMS, and I think that even with one office tech, the EMS office is staffed at a very minimal level when it represents, just for kicks and giggles, let's say 70% of the business of this organization. And so I would just take exception to one comment that's in this fiscal impact. It says bundling our current medic fees will not result in any fiscal change to our revenue. However, by doing this and putting some of these fees in and putting an office tech in, you capture the time value of money, which is important to an organization. I know what you meant. I think we got to get back to the days of thinking about if we provide a service and it takes a year to get compensated for that. That time value of money is a cost that this organization is bearing. And so I think it's prudent. We're going to capture even a $1.7 million increase in revenue, and in order to do that, we're going to spend 83 grand. I know there's a lot of discussion about venture capitalists today, but I think this is a good example of it's pretty wise to invest that kind of money to grab this kind of existing revenue that we're not getting today. And so the community needs to know that. I'm grateful. I pay a pretty handsome fee to my health insurance provider. And this would be nice that if I ever needed to use it, it would be being paid for by that organization, since they have no problem taking a fee out of my paycheck. So I think this is great. I'm fully supportive of the motion and look forward to seeing it happen.
Thank you, Director Gould. Director Monk.
Once again, Chief Daniels, good job on the presentation and on the report. One point, EMS Division had 2 office technicians previously doing this. Were they top step?
Say what?
Were they at top step?
I don't know, because I wasn't in the EMS division when some of these people were around, but I suspect they were at top step. One of them I know for sure was Amy Robertson before she retired.
Chief?
Yeah, I think what we do is when we try to show what costs are, we show the worst case scenario at the highest end.
That's what
Clearly, I believe we're going to be hiring somebody in. I think, is Chief Wells still here? I believe we'll be hiring an additional office tech into the organization because of this. Is that accurate?
Correct.
So that person that comes in at the bottom end is going to be at a lower step, I would assume, the first step. That doesn't mean that somebody else in the organization that's already an office tech may not transfer and want to go into that position. So in essence, we show you the worst case scenario when they eventually get 3 years, 4 years down the road to top step. But to be fair and conservative, we like to show that up front.
I appreciate that. I didn't want those reading this to get the impression that we automatically throw people at top step into any position that comes up. So thank you for the explanation. Thanks, Chief.
Gould, you had a follow-up?
Madam Chair, I just also want to make mention, because it just came to my mind, is we're now having a position that's available. I hope we do an aggressive recruitment of the individuals that we laid off. We did that, and we need to be making sure that we take the time to at least address those individuals and see if there's an inclination and they have the capability of coming back into the organization. I think they should receive priority. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Director Gould. Those are my thoughts also. And thank you, Chief Daniels. At this point in time, help me out, Council, if this is correct or incorrect. I'd like to open the meeting to the public hearing and ask the clerk if we have any speaker forms.
We have no forms at all. Thank you.
I hereby close the public hearing, and we have a motion and a second on the floor. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Director Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Newcomer.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Rosali and Clark absent. Motion passes.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, moving to our second action item this evening, number 2, division redistricting. And we have Jones and Rosali as a presentation. And I don't know what happened to Randy. He should be here. Anyway, is to receive presentation and recommend and direct staff to complete. As a quick recap, earlier this week we had a public workshop with directors present, working in conjunction with a representative from the Registrar of Voters for Sacramento County. A lot of technical work was done to establish the new redistricting boundaries for Metro Fire. And the key was that we followed the initial recommendation from the voter registrar's office. Because of 2010 census changes, we needed to move one district from the north of the river to the south, so that we have a total of 6 divisions north of the river, and 3, instead of 2, we'll establish 3 divisions south of the river to accommodate population changes. The first parameter that we are underneath is that if you have to have less than 10% differential in population counts. Otherwise, the Department of Justice comes after you. I'm happy to announce that we achieved that, and it was very much in line with other agencies as per the registrar of voters representative. And we have a 9% differential, which is very commensurate with, like I said, other agencies. I don't know, we don't have a visual for the public, do we, on the map? Are there any additional comments, questions that any individual directors have for the sake of discussion or to, all right. I saw your hand, saw your nod. Let's go, Director.
No, I was nodding to him.
Okay.
He was way
I'm nodding to you.
Well, I
Madam
shall
Chair.
give the nod
All right,
to
thank you very much.
Director Gould.
I just wanted to go on the record of thanking the individuals that were at the workshop. To have the work of the county staff at voter registrars there was exceptional. The gentleman that was there, I apologize.
Mr. Steve Demers.
That guy was magical with the way he could work those numbers and pull up. It really helped the process. Would have bored to death this group if we had to do it in open session here. So the workshop, I think, worked well. And I appreciate my colleagues, seeing that we had to move around some things and everybody had to maybe take a little bit of the pain as we made some pretty significant shifts in these different divisions. But thank you to the mapping group, too, within Metro Fire. I know that they played a key role in helping us stay visual when we started to get down to streets and some really crazy stuff. So
that would
thank
be
you.
Mr. Dennis Murray.
Yeah, it was an excellent workshop. I'm glad we don't have to necessarily do this for another decade.
Oh, yes, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Are there any other comments from other directors? I would also like to let the board know that on behalf of the board, we sent a thank you letter, an attaboy, to Steve Demers and his agency.
Thank you.
Let's see, our issue here is to direct staff to formalize the written out boundaries, et cetera. Madam Clerk, do you care to add to that, please?
At this point, if the board is in concurrence with what is before them and approves what they have, you may go ahead and direct staff to proceed with the county, have the county surveyor come in and prepare the necessary resolution. When we're ready, we'll bring that resolution back with the attached legal metes and bounds for all 9 divisions, plus the brand new map, and that will be submitted to the board for your approval and adoption. From that point, I'll submit that to voters' registration.
Thank you. And so for direction of staff, is a consensus enough or is a vote required?
Please take a vote on this since it's good for 10 years.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to direct staff per direction of the clerk.
I'll make a motion.
Director Monk, in a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk,
Aye.
Gould,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Newcomer,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Pearson,
Aye.
Orzali, and Clark absent. Motion passes.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. And thank you for all the diligent work that was done at the workshop. That was down in the weeds. It was a lot of attention, a lot of detail. Thank you to each and every one of you who participated. All right, moving down. At this point in time, we'll go to the President's report. I have more of a question of reports in terms of we have our new committees and our new director, and I would like to welcome Director Newcomer. We're already going to settle you with a bunch of work. We have a few vacancies on various committees, and usually at this time we reorganize, so if there are any, would all the directors please let me know if they'd like to continue in their present committee assignments. Director Newcomer will let you know of all those vacancies, and we can establish an executive meeting. Is that executive committee meeting to affirm those committee assignments?
That's correct. We can go ahead and put out
Two for here.
some type of a memo for everyone to express their desires and what committees they would like to serve on, and then we'll go ahead and figure out a time to consider that.
Oh, thank you. And then I would also suggest under TBA, under later committee reports, that we go ahead and do that perhaps 10 minutes before one of our next regularly scheduled meetings when we have the executive committee for sure in attendance. Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, Fire Chief's report.
That's you, Kurt.
Larry Davis texting me more stuff that I need to do. Appreciate that, Larry. Work never stops. President Jones, Board of Directors, first off, I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays and got enough to eat and enough family and got charged up for the new year. I will tell you that 2012 I thought was going to start out a little bit slower than 2011. That's unfortunately not the case. Metro Fire, as you've probably seen on the news, has already had 2 fire fatalities in the district, unfortunately, and has had a whole slew of structure fires and arson fires that we've been dealing with. So 2011, it appears that we were increased our call volume, by the way, by about over 2,000 runs, which is about a station's worth. And remind the public that we have closed around 5 stations out, and yet our call volume went up that much. So we have a lot of work to do in the upcoming year. I'd definitely like to congratulate Director Newcomer on his appointment as a board of director and look forward to working closely with you as all the directors moving forward. And what a way to start. You get redistricting and all the rest of it that went with it on your first meeting. I'd like to announce we had WebEx meetings, the WebEx where we could talk to the entire fire department. I did 2 sessions last week. The third and final session for the beginning of the year will be tomorrow. And I will tell you that the feedback, at least that staff has gotten, you're free to, of course, visit with them, has been pretty overwhelmingly positive about getting the message out to the troops. They can ask the fire chief right straight to them or her what their concerns are. And I think that's important that we directly and transparently answer those questions and concerns. And of course, as we go about that, they give us as much information a lot of times than we give them. So I think it's working very, very well. It still has some technical glitches, but our IT division is working very, very diligently on that. We had a meeting with Chris Cooper of Latrobe Fire, the fire chief. We will be meeting later this month and doing a presentation for the board of directors of the Latrobe Fire District into the possibility of merger acquisition or regionalization. They were very interested, and Chief Holbrook, Captain Johnson, and staff have put together a presentation that we're finalizing for a presentation at an evening meeting with them. Clearly, that's 35 square miles that crosses into a third county, would be a third county for us, which is important on the ERAF considerations. I was interviewed by Lance Armstrong of the Arden Carmichael News, and he did a nice spot about my life and my family, and I appreciated that, and Metro Fire more importantly. We attended the local 522 holiday open house where I saw a lot of you there, and as usual, they did just a knockdown job. We also met with Rancho Cordova, 2x2 meeting. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Rancho Cordova for letting us use their chambers. And, you know, in today's tough economic times, they were going to bill us not a lot of money, but they were going to charge us for the use of the facility, which we understood. We were able to talk to them and remind them that we had donated a building to them when they were a brand new city for a year for $1. And they really stepped up and helped us out. So to the elected officials of Rancho Cordova, they waived the fees, and they've just been tremendous to work with, and certainly we're happy to be here. JPA Governing Council in regards to the Zinfandel site and the JPA, Director Kelly was there. We are starting to make great strides and progress, and it's going to start to go very, very quickly. As you saw in the governor's budget, They split CSTI. They're proposing to close it and split it between the northern part of the state and the southern part of the state. And clearly, we want to be in the running, and I'll be representing, hopefully, the League of Cities on that for the northern part for fire and hazmat. And clearly, we're already working with our law enforcement partners, the sheriff and chief of police for Sac City in regards to the law enforcement part. So we're hopeful that that's going to go through the legislature. It'll make it a lot more accessible. To that end, we are really moving fast on trying to get estimates for fencing out at the Zinfandel site, temporary classrooms out there, and get the use of our props going so that we can be open for business and be able to accommodate those types of dynamic opportunities that present themselves. Had several meetings in regards to the simulator process. We have the Elbit systems coming next week, along with several VIPs from Cali EMA. We're working very diligently on that. On the 10th, I sat through the special board workshop for redistricting. As I told council, I thought I was going to be bored out of my mind, but I got to tell you, the guy that was running the computer, it was unbelievable to be able to move lines around and boundaries, and it's something that I had never experienced. But they did a great job, and it was very informative. This morning, I was on the League of Cities conference call as well for the League's upcoming year. Clearly, pension reform is on there. Yeah, I'd like the public to know, and I think the board would want them to know. You have paperwork in front of you, an article in today's paper about the city manager of Sacramento talking about what needs to be done to solve half of their deficit. And what the public needs to know is that Metro Fire has already done it. Our members are going to pay 12% come next July. They're already paying 9%. And for those people out there that are touting the governor's plan about paying 50% of normal costs, we are 1.5% short of paying 50% of normal costs at 12%. So we're right there. And our employees did that mid-contract when they didn't have to, and they stepped up and put that in. And I'm going to repeat that every meeting if the board lets me, because it doesn't get covered in the Sacramento Bee that way. It's all the negative, and it needs to be about the truth. And this organization stepped up and did it. So we'll be working with the League of Cities on that legislation. Also, staff met today with Dr. Pan, Assemblymember Pan. I was unable to do that. This is going to be on companion issues with AB 678. Unfortunately, when we talk about billing people, we do have people who have the ability to pay, but they don't. And they just blow us off. And so the cities have the ability to go through our new finance staff, the Franchise Tax Board, which happens to be located in Metro Fire's district. However, when we tried to get in the front door, it was almost an impossibility. They wouldn't really even talk to us because we were a district. So we are making sure that we go the legislative route in regards to ensure that districts, and Rusty Dupre with the Special Districts Association will make sure that we're covered by them, because they will actually go out, the Franchise Tax Board, and when people are due a tax refund, they take the carve out to pay for your ambulance ride to the hospital. It's something that we put out there. And so this isn't for the indigent that don't have anything. This is for the people that are getting their money back, and we're trying to collect. So we're looking at new ways of doing that. And without being heavy-handed, really going after the people that are less than stellar in reputation as far as being honest and taking care of what they owe. So we're moving forward on that. Upcoming on the 14th of this month is the Guns N' Hoses Crab Feed at the Scottish Rite Center at 6 p.m. It's a great thing. They really need people to get out there. I bought tickets. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there, so I donated them to my secretary. But I encourage everybody to go there. And, of course, I believe the following weekend on the 28th, or on the 28th of this month, is the Guns N' Hoses football game. And definitely we want to get people out there for the Guns N' Hoses. That's police and sheriff versus fire. We almost had that one last year. It's a great game to go to. It's a lot of fun. And clearly the law enforcement has a lot more people to draw from. So, we have a limited pool, but we have some very, very talented people. And, of course, I'm under a lot of pressure in hiring in the future to look at 6'6", 280 former NFL stars so that we can eventually go out and crush them, as we have before. because that's what the cops do. They always cheat. Old Station 111 from 9 to 11 a.m. Supervisor McGlashan will be visiting to see on the 18th how the project is moving along and coming out in regards to the museum project out there. So we're looking forward to that. And then on the 20th next week, I'm on the Public Safety Policy Committee for the League of Cities, which will be meeting here in Sacramento. And we'll be working, I'll be sitting on those committees on statewide issues as well. February 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Again, that's February 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Sunrise Mall Boot Drive for the Burn Center, the Burn Institute. Jimmy Doucette was all over me in emails. I'm going to keep repeating that. We want to get people out there. Metro Chiefs have won that the last 2 years, raising the most money. I intend to try to uphold that tradition, and will accept large bills in envelopes that I can stuff in the boot prior to it, so that we ensure that victory. So let me know if you want to help donate to fill the boot. And I think it's the 18th that I'm out there. I'll have to check on that. We have no new hires to report. However, we do have retirements, and hopefully Mo Johnson's not going to come up here and pick one that I didn't get. But we had December 24th, Engineer Mike McGurk with 26 years of service. December 30th, Engineer Dale Darnell, 22 years of service. December 31st, Assistant Chief Dale Turner, 26 years of service. December 31st, Supervising Inspector Michael Keene, 10 years of service. December 31st, Battalion Chief Ed Crawford, 32 years of service. December 31st, Deputy Chief Brian Rice, 26 years of service. December 31st, Fire Marshal Mike Stewart, 23 years of service. And that concludes the retirees. The one last announcement that I have is that we will be announcing an internal and external recruitment for a new fire marshal. Since Mr. Stewart retired, announced his retirement, that testing process is anticipated to have somebody either promoted or on board by no later than March 1st. And that process will also be kicking off, as well as we will be having an internal, external chief financial officer's recruitment that is being kicked off. And I think both of those processes are going to be either by tomorrow or early next week. That those processes will be initiated, where we'll advertise, and both of those are internal, external opportunities. And with that, just wish everybody a great new year. I thought it would start off slow. It's not, and it's just great to be here, and thank you very much. That concludes my remarks.
All right, thanks, Chief. Just to make sure we're not going to have an ops chief report, since you've covered the... Oh, here we go.
Oh, no,
Thank
we've got
much.
it. Deputy Chief
Deputy Chief Chris Holbrook. Welcome to the podium, sir.
Thank you, President Jones, members of the board. Christopher Holbrook, Deputy Chief of Operations. I'd like to report to you tonight quite a number of issues that have occurred since the first of the year. We did have a rash of 24 arson fires, both north and south of the river, that kept our crews busy for days. Those fires have been abated through an aggressive outreach relative to our investigators trying to locate the individuals. While no arrests were made, we certainly have quieted the problem down, if you will. The chief mentioned 2 fatal fires. Both of these fatal fires, there was a technique, a very aggressive technique used called vent-enter search, where firefighters actually enter the unburned portion of the home without the support of any hose lines whatsoever. They put themselves in there as quickly as they can, assess that area. In this case, we happen to find 2 victims in 2 separate fires. Both of those victims were removed and transported to the hospital. Unfortunately, both also succumbed to their injuries. So it's been tremendously busy since our last board meeting, 56 fires. That's twice the normal rate. 56 structure fires. While in a small sample, that looks like a real anomaly, twice the normal rate. In a much larger sample, we always get busier in the winter. And so I'm not taking it as a true anomaly, but it has been tremendously busy. And finally, I'll wrap up with welcoming to the operations group Assistant Chiefs Walter White and Assistant Chief Darren Taylor, Battalion Chief Repetto, Seiler, Turner, and Griggs. We're honored to have them on the team and bring in a new effort with the new year. So that concludes my report. I'll answer any questions. Sir.
I'd just like to add one thing, because my secretary had page 2 here that I didn't read, so I appreciate you doing that. Great catch there. Also, we promoted captains Brian Barthel and Ryan Pittman, and I missed 2 retirees. First off, December 31st was Battalion Chief Jeff Metzinger with 26 years of service, and apparently he is now the new fire chief of the Sacramento International Airport. So that's kind of a great move that we have people of that caliber that then other people sit there and go, we want them to be their chief, and that's going to be a great working relationship for the people in the fire service in the region. And December 31st, Captain Stuart Swift with 28 years of service. And one last thing, on the 20th, Scott Cockrum and company and personnel from Metro Fire were honored to deliver pillow pets and toys to children who were spending Christmas in UC Davis Medical Center Children's Hospital. Thank you to everyone who had a part in making this project a success. And, we're truly grateful to them for the outreach. And I think you're seeing a lot more of, I know some directors have said we really need to get out in the community more. I'm going to tell you, in the last several months, it's been pretty unbelievable. So I appreciate you giving me that time to clean that up. Thank you.
Else?
No, any question?
Questions or comments?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We have General Counsel's report.
No report, President Jones.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a representative from Firefighters Local 522? Welcome to the podium, Captain Johnson.
Good evening, President, Board, Chief. Thought I had you there. You cleaned it up pretty good, though. Just as a reminder, he actually covered everything that I want to talk to you about.
Thank you, Mo.
The annual Guns and Hoses charity football game, as we talked about, which is going to showcase the firefighters versus our law enforcement brothers and sisters on January 28th, 1 p.m. at CSUS. So we invite you all out there and look forward to seeing you there as well, to see us come home with the victory, which I'm sure will happen. We have a new president, Local 522. Brian Rice was sworn in just yesterday morning, so he's at the helm and doing good things already. So I'm sure you'll hear from him very soon. The 522 vice president position is currently vacant. IAFF has required us to do an entire new election, so that's in the process. So look forward to having a new vice president within the next 5 to 6 weeks or so. I want to thank Chief Hinkie and staff who worked on the WebEx project. It's proven to be a powerful communications tool, which is now getting the official word from the district out to the troops, the boots on the ground, which has definitely helped out quite a bit. Talked about the boot drive already. Thank you. Engineer McGurk, again, I just want to, we've got so many years and years of experience and talent that's walked out of the doors this last year. I think we're going to be upwards of 45 folks that are leaving us, and each and every one of them leaves with a tremendous amount of experience and time on. So we're becoming a younger and younger agency as we get these large pockets of folks that are leaving us. But Engineer McGurk, Engineer Darnell, Chief Turner, Inspector Keene, Battalion Chief Crawford, Deputy Chief Rice, Mike Stewart, Fire Marshal, Stuart Swift, Battalion Chief Metzinger, now the Fire Chief for the airport, which is good as well. Promotions, I want to congratulate Deputy Chief Chris Holbrook on his promotion, Assistant Chief White, Assistant Chief Turner, Battalion Chief Turner, Battalion Chief Repetto, Battalion Chief Shannon, Battalion Chief Seiler, Battalion Chief Griggs. Lots of promotions. I also want to congratulate Captain Pittman and Captain Barnell and Captain Barthel in their new positions as captains. Lastly, and certainly not least, I want to say congratulations to Director Newcomer. Welcome aboard, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Captain. Our next item under committee and delegate reports, we will be announcing the executive committee meeting for the rest of the committee appointees, and it is still to be decided, to be announced. Number 2, Communications Center JPA. Chief Aaron. Welcome.
Good evening, Board. Thank you. Since our last regular meeting on December 20th, we have not had a regular meeting. The next one scheduled is January 31st at 9 a.m., and that will be in the Hurley building. So I have no additional information to report to you at this time.
Thank you, sir. California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Director Kelly.
The JPA met in December at the Kalima building. Chief mentioned things are, seemed like the discussions were focused on what's going to take place out at Zinfandel. And the next meeting is scheduled for January 8th.
All right, thank you very much. Our Finance Committee.
February 8th.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Finance Committee met this evening, received an excellent report from McFarland. Thank you, McFarlane. Thank you so much for all your work on that. We are behind in our delinquent property taxes, but we are looking at other different revenue streams, and our medic ambulance fees are on a good track. So again, we're in the dry period funding, and hopefully by the end of January, we should have idea what our collectible taxes are. But at this point in time, it's all speculation, but we have our fingers crossed that they'll come across as programmed by staff, as projected by staff. All right, Policy Committee, does anyone care to report?
We
Director,
have not met since our last meeting, and our next meeting is January 26th here at 5 p.m.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move to board member questions and comments. Director Monk, would you start? No comment? Director Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, I'd like to thank the staff for the reports this evening, very thorough. Like to also congratulate Director Newcomer. Appreciate your background and what you bring to the table. Like to congratulate all the staff for their promotions and those that have retired. And then as we were hearing tonight, all these retirees, wondering if this board ought to consider capturing some of that institutional knowledge in a blue ribbon panel. Oftentimes, those folks leave with institutional knowledge that is very difficult for us to tap into once they go. But I think we may want to look at, on occasion, putting together a blue ribbon panel of some of these folks who then can advise some of us policymakers of things that they've seen over 4 or 5 decades, so that we don't maybe repeat history in a negative way. So I think that's something that maybe the executive team could look at, of when it's appropriate, for instance, redistricting or something of a significant magnitude, that we put together a blue ribbon panel of some of these retirees, because as you heard tonight, I would imagine you're talking hundreds and hundreds of years of challenges that they went through and were able to come up with ideas. So hopefully we can make that happen. And then, Madam Chair, I'd like to continue to serve on the committees I currently serve on, as well as support Director Kelly and the JPA.
Thank you very much. Director Pearson?
Not really anything to report, other than I did enjoy my time also at the 522's Christmas party. That was nice to see a few of you there. And that's it, really.
All right, thank you very much. Director Scheidegger?
Thank you, Madam President. I, too, would like to welcome Director Jim Newcomer. You should be very proud. There was some tremendous competition, and there was a good selection. So we're happy to have you. I'd also like to thank Chief Daniels and staff for the work in the first responder program. Again, we're faced with tough times, and I appreciate the innovation that this department is putting forth and trying to deal with it in an effective way that's fair to the community. It's good business, so thanks. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Director Newcomer.
I too would like to thank staff for all the work that was done in preparation for the meeting tonight. I would like to congratulate everyone that has retired and all of the people that are new promotees. And I would very much like to thank the board for their vote of confidence in me by this appointment. And all right.
Thank you, Director Newcomer. Vice President, Director Kelly.
I would like to congratulate those individuals retiring, those individuals being promoted. Thank staff for their reports, and also for everything that staff has done to raise the profile of Metro Fire in the community. And I think special thanks goes to you, Chief Cockrum, for the work you did with Eschaton on the magnet program. You know, you facilitated a lot of this. That's why I'm singling you out, okay? And also the Coats for Kids, tremendous effort. And now that I hear that you made a visit to UC Davis in December, thank you very much for the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Director Kelly. I will be reiterating a lot of thank yous that my peers have already done. I would like to thank the City of Rancho Cordova for accommodating us during our moving time. We very much appreciate the very, very nice boardroom. I would like to also congratulate the newly promoted officers. As fast as I could ride, it was just Deputy Chief Chris Holbrook and Assistant Chiefs Darren Taylor and Assistant Chief White, along with every other promotion. And probably the folks that got appointed engineer and captain are the most tickled. So congratulations to each and every promotee. It takes a lot of work. The testing process, the studying hours, weeks, months to improve one's knowledge, skills, and abilities. And congratulations that that has come to fruition for so many people. Congratulations to all of the retirees. Excellent. Now the best work is yet to come. I wish each and every one of them a long and healthy and happy retirement. I would like to echo some of the sentiments also mentioned here. Chief Daniels, your work on the revenue collections for the ambulance, it is so critical because our tax dollars only go so far. And we have, here at Metro Fire, we have been able to continue and amplify our public emergency response, for example, with ALS engines and first responders to every call. That is such a huge thing, and we need to look for ways to continue to deliver that service. So the legislative remedy for the ambulance fees, it was there. You did the research, staff did the research, and thank you for finding that, because we want to continue to maintain and hopefully somehow increase the level of professional, dedicated service that we deliver to our community. So thank you very much for that diligent work. If there are no other comments for the good of the order, I will hereby adjourn this meeting.